I've had an idea for a game stuck in my head for 8 years. It all started when I saw the trailer for this game right here, Scanner Sombre. I don't know if it's the first game to do this, but you have a LiDAR gun and you can shoot these colorful dots everywhere and cover the entire world, and it's the only way you can see anything, and the art style is amazing. When I first saw it, I immediately thought of a version of the game that didn't use a LiDAR gun, but instead had a cave covered in bioluminescent fungus that you lit up with a flashlight, and it would look cool. But I never made this game for one reason. I'm stupid. And I'm lazy, and I'm bad at coding, and I'm bad at making games, and I don't know how to read, I don't know how to write, and I'm 5'2". But I will no longer let those things stop me. I've spent the past 3 weeks making a prototype for this game that's been stuck in my head for so long. Let's see if it's any good. In order to make our bioluminescent fungus, we're going to have to make a shader. And what is a shader, you may ask? Galileo Galilei once said, "Mathematics is the language in which God has written the universe." And shaders, what am I doing? Shaders are programs built of collections of specific, efficient math equations that take advantage of your computer's GPU to render things on the screen. Probably. That's probably what they are. And much like math and the universe, yeah, I'm bringing it back to Galileo. Much like math and the universe, shaders control just about everything you see in a 3D game. We can only see the texture on this wall because of a shader. The same goes for this character model. Many of the effects you might see on your screen, like from getting damaged, that's a shader. The UI, 50% chance that's also a shader. Now, you can really do anything with shaders. It is a whole art form. Don't keep the expectations low for mine. Actually, I'm gonna blur these out. Don't look at these because you're gonna be disappointed by what I do. So let's talk about our fungus shader. We're gonna start off by generating some random noise. There's a lot of different random noise algorithms out there. We're using this sort of cellular one, but you know, TV static, I guess, would be the most common random noise out there in the world. But anyways, we're gonna generate this noise, and then we're gonna generate like 5 other slight differentiations? Nope. What? Variations of this noise, and then merge them all together to get this fuzzy mess. And then we invert some colors, mess with some contrast, and look at that. We get something that sort of looks like fungus. And then we're gonna do a very similar thing with some other noise, but use that to generate some colors, and then merge those together. That hurt my hand, actually, ow. And then we're gonna merge those together, and look, now we have some color on our fungus. Now it's time for our lighting effect, and this effect can definitely be done inside the shader, because again, anything can be done inside of a shader, but I ain't the guy to do that. This is the first shader I've ever made, so yeah, that's not happening. And I did try to do that, and I tried a lot of other things, and stuff got pretty freaky with the effect, but I eventually landed on a method to do this. I discovered that if I take a black circle and project it onto the wall with what's called a decal in my game engine, and then take this color mix property and bring it down into the negative, it makes the fungus glow, even in the dark. Now, is this expected behavior for this property? I'm not gonna ask. I also learned that I can draw to the images these decals are projecting on the wall with some, check this out, some code. Ooh. So if I cover the entire wall with a decal, I can draw this black, well, it's white here, whatever. Imagine it's black all over the wall, and then change that color mix, and now it's glowing. Now, is this method performant, smart, clever, or a good idea? No! Fuck no, it's not. but we're gonna do it anyways. I also made a potentially controversial decision here with the game's visuals. I went ahead and went with a like night vision goggles look. So everything's green. You've got a pixel like blurry sort of filter over everything. The bloom's turned up. I like it. Let me know if you like it in the comments. We really don't want to reinvent the wheel here with our weapons, and let me tell you how much I hate reinventing the wheel. I wouldn't even invent the wheel in the first place. We would still be using sleds if it had been up to me. And actually, if I was alive in caveman times and I was the first one to discover fire, I would have stomped that shit out and plunged humanity into 10,000 more years of darkness. I really should just cut all that out, but I'm not going to. We're going to use pre-built weapon models provided by the creators of the engine I use to have some wonderful animations already attached. That's going to make building our weapon system 10 times easier. First off, we're going to continue solving problems in the dumbest way possible. We want our arm and gun to be green. We're just gonna shine a green light on the models 24/7 so they look green. Problem solved. Now we get to do some fun stuff. When I design a gun in a video game, I like to overdo it. I want you to be disoriented when you shoot a gun. I want you to be scared and just firing wildly. So I built a fat recoil system and then began a very, very important part of this process: sound design. Layering is your friend in sound design, especially with something like a gunshot. So for the sound of this rifle, I layered 3 different sounds on top of each other. A basic gunshot sound, this sound of a person knocking on a door, and the sound of a kick drum. Then I messed around with some pitches and some speeds and some blah blah blah, and we got this for our rifle sound. After that, I added some logic to make our muzzle flashes from the gun interact with the lighting system we built earlier, and the game really started to come together here. When you go from pitch black to everything lit up in a millisecond, oh, that's cool. I also added a pistol to increase the complexity of our gameplay a little bit here. The idea is that the rifle has a light on it, so you're lighting up the entire world around you as you move, so you can't really be sneaky. But the pistol doesn't have a light, so you can hide in the darkness and you know, pew pew people. But of course, it does less damage as a trade-off. Alright, so we have an interesting design problem here to solve right off the bat. How do we display other players in the world? The first option was to have them just be complete blacked out silhouettes, which I thought looked really cool, like art direction wise. I imagine a horror game would work with this better than like a first-person competitive shooter, because it's just a little too hard to like spot people and fire at them. Option 2 is a pretty straightforward one. It was to just put the same fungus on the players that's on the wall. But when I did this, I found that the fungus players were like harder to see than the silhouette players because they had like perfect camouflage. So I started experimenting, and the first thing I did was give the players red fungus instead of green, and it certainly made them easier to see, but I wasn't sure if that was like in the spirit of the game, because in my mind, like this was like a realistic, like tactical shooter sort of thing. But the more I actually looked at the red players, 1, they looked cool, and 2, they just made for a better game. Because if you're playing a game where everyone's exactly the same color as the wall, it really incentivizes people to just sit in a corner and wait for someone to walk by, and that's not the type of game we're trying to make here. I also made it so if a piece of light touches a player model, the entire thing starts glowing instead of just like the piece that got hit by the light. I'm not sure if I should have done this, but it really does make it just easy to spot people. And at this point, things were really starting to come together, and I was discovering mechanics I didn't even think to put in the game. They were just already there. Like, if you shoot your gun, the muzzle flash lights up everything in front of you and reveals any players there. But it also reveals your location exactly to any other players. So it becomes a trade-off. Like, if you want to see, you have to become seen as well. Whoa. After that, finishing up combat was pretty easy. We added hitboxes to the players, which is like, that's what you shoot. We added a body hitbox and a head hitbox. I kept the time to kill pretty fast in this game. We're at like Call of Duty levels here. It does not take too many shots to kill somebody. I didn't make headshots do too much extra damage because I'll be honest with you, I'm going to just go ahead and cross out the part of the script I was going to read here. I'm not that good at hitting headshots, so, I mean, if I'm making the game, who's going to stop me? And transition to another topic here. I've been adding a ton of smaller mechanics to this game throughout the development process. There's so many little questions to solve when you're making a game. But here's one. How do we inform a player they've been shot? My first experiment in solving this problem was adding a big green vignette that pops up when you get shot. Too much. So I made the vignette red because that's the color of blood, which is what comes out of you when you get shot. And then I made it way more subtle. And that was pretty good. I also made it so that your camera kind of jerks a little bit when you get shot, kind of like recoil, mostly because I want 80% of bullets fired in this game to miss. I don't want anyone hitting any shot. So this jerk mechanic sort of just helps with that. For the map, I decided to repurpose the shipyard one that had been uploaded to the s&box workshop. Why? Well, I had a premonition of the future, a future where I spent an entire day making my own cave underground map like I originally planned, and then discovered that my decal light system doesn't work with curved surfaces. So I decided not to do that and waste all my time and just repurpose this one. So I replaced all of the materials in this map with our fungus one, and then spent so long meticulously placing our decals over every single surface in the game and adjusting the colliders of those decals to match the map. This continues to be a terrible system. But the important thing is that it works, and it does. With this new map combined with our lighting system, we have achieved the vision I had in my head 8 years ago. It is super satisfying to look around this map and watch the world light up behind your flashlight and then slowly fade away. And it's dark and it's scary and you feel like you should be wearing like a hazmat suit. Yeah, I think we did it here. Doing a little bit of playtesting and just walking around the map in general has left me feeling like maybe competitive shooter isn't the right genre here. Maybe like a horror game, like, oh, you know, Fear? This could be cool for like a little horror shooter like Fear. That'd be cool. The last step here is to name our game. I decided to do some like acronym thing and just add some random numbers in to make it seem like a top secret military operation. So we went with BL for bioluminescent and then 94 for no particular reason. And folks, always remember to Google the names you choose for things because you never know what it could be associated with. The only other BL94 I could find on the internet is this asteroid that orbits between Mars and Jupiter. Here's a picture of it behind the New York skyline. It's a pretty cool asteroid, so yeah, I think we got a good name twin here. This is the first game I've made in a long time that's not a joke, and I'm really glad I made this to remind myself that I can make things that look cool. Also, I had to learn just so many new things about shaders and drawing to textures and hitboxes and so many other things. I am very glad I made BL94. Even though it's just a little prototype game, I'm pretty proud of it. If you want to play it, it's on s&box, and thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. Leave a comment, it helps me out in the algorithm, and I'll see you guys next time.